Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at our favorite video each and every weekday, our player props video. A little 2-2 to start Monday, but we will be right back above 500 today. We are feeling pretty confident about these. Make sure you do check out Nate's great article up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page, as we got a couple other videos of game videos up for you today on a pretty nice Tuesday night slate. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's player props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, and of course you want to start with the game that has a 245-point total right now. The Hornets at the Wolves. As we know, Minnesota's been playing shootouts routinely. The Hornets were going under for a little while, but they've ramped back up in terms of their pace and scoring. And LaMelo Ball has really changed his role since Gordon Hayward went down. Reverted to that old gunner from deep that we saw if you watched him come up through high school. He used to take a lot of 30, 35 footers. So he's been doing this a long time. And he's 17 for 31 from deep in his last 3 games here. Now in 10 games without Hayward, averaging 26.5 points versus 18.5 points with him. And the triples are up to 3.1 at 40%. It's a higher clip. I like the points for LaMelo, which is still only at 21.5, despite smashing that the last 3 games here. And the threes, you can actually get for minus 140 for him to hit 3 threes, but I would go one step up and take 4 threes at about plus 170. Look, this is a Wolves team that gives up the most threes, nearly 15 per game, along with the third most points per game in their last 12. In that span, they're giving up the most 3-pointers to point guards, along with the 4th most points. That's 4.2 per game to point guards. LaMelo has been a little hotter on the road lately, 30.8 points per game, hitting 3.8 triples at 53.5%. And he went 4 for 5 from deep in his first appearance in Minnesota as a rookie. But, played below 30 minutes in that game. His usage rate and minutes were much lower last year, much lower even a couple weeks ago or a month ago when he was coming back from COVID. But now he's all systems go. And, he's really carrying Charlotte on offense because they were struggling before this.
Yeah, and he's much more of a true point guard now with Gordo out. We mentioned this a lot too. He's playing, bringing the ball up a lot more. He's the facilitator. The usage rate goes up as well. Everything LaMelo, I don't know that maybe they haven't figured it out yet, but 21.5 points is too low for Melo when we don't have Gordon Hayward, and we're talking about 245 points as the total in this game. So yeah, plenty to go around. So let's stick in this game, and I'll take Ant Edwards, the other guy who got picked first overall in LaMelo's draft. Both these guys are going to be bringing it. We'd love to find that motivation. Ant's points right now, 24.5. He's also got a 3-point prop at 3.5. If you think he's going to make more than those, I like both of those. It's 245 and rising is this total, as we mentioned a number of times now. And so there's going to be a lot of points. I think we can feel very confident about that. Even if this game goes under, we could still see both teams score 120. Ant specifically against Charlotte, we're talking about the 3-point shooting to start with. Charlotte is very bad at defending the 3-pointer, especially on the road, second highest 3-point percentage to their opponents. And in the last 3 road games, that's actually been even higher than their 37.5 that they're giving up on the season. They've been giving up 38.5% from 3 to their opponents over their last 3 road games. So you got to like what that bet right there. The last 3 for Ant specifically, he's looking at 31.5 points a game on about 49% shooting from the floor, 42% from 3. Really good numbers there. 4.5 3-pointers made on about a little bit more than 10 attempts in those last 3 as well. Even though he was a little bit cold from, in his last 8 home games specifically, playing a bunch of good defenses, including, Denver, Utah, Golden State. Then you got OKC, Cleveland. So, he's just going up against a ton of really great defenses and still hitting about 3 threes at home in that time frame, shooting about 35% a clip. But I think this is a big game for him. It's a big game for pretty much anybody who can score, and Ant will definitely be looking to do so. 24.5 points is easy money tonight for him. And then if you think he's going to continue hitting those threes at a ridiculous clip, like we said, if he's going to be shooting 10 of them, I think those, 4 threes made for him at minus 111 feels pretty good as well.
Yeah, I love the narrative angle. It's just like when Trae Young and Luka Doncic play each other for a few years. They're forever linked in that draft, and both guys definitely want to bring it. Both guys have been hot from deep lately and had a big lull, as you mentioned, in those home games. But I think those are some really gross matchups, not even the good defense he faces, but like the Thunder in there and the Nets in there with their struggles. It's just not really conducive to shootouts like the Hornets should be tonight. So we should see him ramp back up in those home games after 3 big ones on the road. Tyrese Maxey and the Sixers are at home. We break down that game video for you today and mention that we like Maxey a lot to go over 16.5 points. And I like the Sixers to win, so you can get 18 plus points at nearly plus 300 pairing those two together. It's hard to imagine the Sixers winning this game without getting a good output from Maxey since Seth Curry's gone and James Harden is not ready to play yet. Really, Maxey's been hot since the start of January at 17.5 points per game, despite a usage rate under 20%. He's up to 20 points per game when Seth Curry sits. His usage rate goes up to 23%. He's averaging, 22 points per game on 52% shooting his last 5 home games. That includes a 33-point outburst to beat Memphis when Embiid sat, which was the last time the 76ers were underdogs. They're about 2 or 3 point dogs tonight. But Maxey is going to be key, beating the Celtics out of that double team that they employed on Embiid the last time these teams faced. And, Embiid getting that extra attention allowed Maxey to go for 23 points, 8 for 16 field goal shooting. So I think we'll see a lot more of that lately. The Celtics, while they've been the best defense recently, still getting up the 7th most points per game to point guards in their last 7 as they, integrate Derek White. Marcus Smart, still a bit of an overrated on-ball defender. Yeah, I don't think he can really keep Maxey in front of him unless he gets away with a lot of those subtle fouls that he often likes to do. But we're on the road here, so got to favor the home team and the electrifying second-year guard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Harden affects Maxey, right? That's something that I don't know how often. I'll probably take a back seat to betting on Maxey once Harden comes in, basically, and then go from there. But the key stats here you're talking about too is what Maxey does without Seth Curry. Someone who loves to play with Embiid as well, playing off of him on that pick and roll and that dribble handoff, etc. Without him, Maxey steps into that role a ton. Obviously, much more of a slasher and rim runner and driver than Seth Curry is, but either way, a guy that can create his own shot and get what he needs. So love him playing alongside Embiid until Harden gets back, and then we'll revisit that conversation. So lastly here, Nate, I'm taking CJ McCollum. It's time for us to look at what he's doing already on New Orleans in 3 games with them. First one was a bit of a dud, just 15 points as he's getting used to stuff. But in his second 2 games that he's played with them now, averaging about 30 points on 65% from the field, about a 30% usage rate, highest on the team, 135 individual offensive rating. And he's only been getting a bit last night specifically, only 32 minutes with only 13 field goal attempts, still getting over 30 points. They beat the crap out of Toronto, so he wasn't really needed. I don't know that that'll be the case tonight against the Grizzlies. They're actually 4.5 point underdogs. I don't know it'll necessarily be a blowout either in New Orleans. But I do like what CJ does against those Grizzlies in his last 7 versus them, obviously as a member of the Blazers. 26.5 points a game on 51, 44, 91% splits. So really, really good from 3, 44%. And that Memphis road defense struggles a lot more than it does at home. The defensive rating on the road rises from 107 to about 111 there. And they are in the bottom 10 in terms of allowing their opponents to shoot 3-pointers, the 8th highest opponent 3-point percentage. So I really like CJ tonight in this game. 20.5 points feels low for him. I think he easily gets over 21. I don't really know how I feel about New Orleans winning this game. I think Ja is still about questionable as we're recording this, but regardless, it's not about that tonight. He's just going to get those 21 points and continue to score with that really, really high usage rate on his new team.
And this is mea culpa yesterday for taking the Raptors over the Pelicans because I thought it would take some time for McCollum and Ingram to get on the same page. Well, it turns out they did last night. Ingram had a triple-double. CJ, again, lights out, shooting over 65%. So I think we expect them to continue that stretch here and CJ to really continue to be revitalized as he experiences a change of scenery and continues to showcase that array of moves and puts the disrespect back in Josh's mouth, comping him to Jordan Poole yesterday and continues to show that he is a more reliable scorer at this point.
Defending myself, I said Jordan Poole in 3 years. But my point is small scores. CJ still got it. And look, I don't hate this move, even though he's not the youngest pup, in the litter. He's definitely, still got game in him. And in him coming in there and being exactly what they need as a guard that can just create his own shot and create for others when needed. I think this is a good move for when they get Zion back and they still have the peak CJ for at least 2 or 3 more years. I really like it. So we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, CJ tonight, 21 points. I think we like that one. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Got those other couple of videos up for you on a pretty fun Tuesday night slate tonight. And until we see you next, happy betting.